By the end of this fight, an untrained 4-year-old is gonna post a bigger number than the guy who spent the whole episode wrecking his dad. And the crazy part? Once you line the numbers up, it makes total sense. So let's do exactly that. Every reading in this saga, start to finish, and everything they quietly tell you. Here's the moment it all kicks off. A pot slams into earth. This long-haired Saiyan climbs out, flattens a farmer, and goes looking for a guy named Kakarot. And the first person he runs into is Piccolo, off training alone in the mountains. Piccolo throws everything he's got, and Raditz doesn't even blink. Then the scouter pings something bigger somewhere else, and he just leaves. Piccolo's standing there stunned, completely written off. That something bigger is a reunion over at Roshi's place, and that's where a brother from another planet crashes the party, calls Goku Kakarot, grabs Gohan, and gives Goku a day to go kill 100 people or the kid dies. You know the setup. What I care about is what the scouter says next. So Goku and Piccolo, mortal enemies until about 5 minutes ago, team up out of pure necessity because neither of them stand a chance solo. And when Raditz clocks Piccolo, the scouter puts him at 322. Sit with that for a second, because it's the whole ceiling. Piccolo's one of the 2 strongest beings walking the planet right now, and 322 is where the bar sits. Every number after this is going to get measured against it, and honestly, that's what makes the next 20 minutes so brutal, because 322 is about to look like pocket change. They get to the crash site, and before anybody throws a punch, Goku and Piccolo peel off their weighted gear, the capes, the turbans, all of it hitting the dirt hard enough to leave a crater, and you can watch the scouter climb in real time. Piccolo jumps from 322 up to 408. Goku, who'd been sitting at 334 with the weights on, pops up to 416. And here's the thing that always gets me. Those 2 jumps are almost the same. Piccolo gains about a quarter of his power. Goku gains about a quarter of his, which means these 2 are independently walking around every single day, dragging a fourth of their strength behind them just to make life harder. Same discipline, same handicap, down to the percentage. That 416 is Goku completely raw, nothing fancy layered on. Hang on to it, because everything flashy he does after this is just that 416 with a multiplier slapped on top. And a multiplier on a small number is still a small number, but that's the whole game. 408 and 416, Earth's absolute best. Now watch it stop mattering. Because Raditz barely bothers. He soaks their opening shots like he's standing in a light drizzle, then lifts off and fires a double Sunday, 1 blast from each hand, and it takes Piccolo's arm clean off the shoulder while barely scuffing his own armor. And that blast? My scouter reads it at 1200, which just so happens to be Raditz's exact power level. That's not a coincidence, and it's the coolest tell in the whole arc. Watch how Raditz reacts when the heroes start gathering their ki into a single point. He's genuinely rattled, like he's never seen it done, and that's the giveaway. He can't do it himself. There's no focusing, no charging, no second gear. He just sprays his raw base out flat, which is exactly why his blast and his body read the same number. He even settles that old guidebook argument where he's listed as high as 1500, because a 1500 Raditz would outmuscle the beam that nearly kills him later. And the fight only holds together if he's the 1200 the manga actually shows. Now put 1200 next to Goku's 416, and it's almost 3 times over. And once a gap gets that wide, we're past the point where Goku can even scratch him, like physically. The key difference is big enough that Raditz just cancels out whatever Earth throws, and tanks the rest without flinching. That's not losing, that's not cannot land a hit. And that's precisely how it plays out. Arm gone, Goku folded, plan in pieces. So Piccolo pulls out the ace he'd secretly been building to kill Goku someday, and points it at Raditz instead. Only problem, it needs time to charge. So Goku throws himself in as a distraction, winds up, and unloads a full Kamehameha. The scouter says 924. And here's what's wild about that number. It's basically double his base. 416 becomes 924 the second he fires the family move. So the Kamehameha is roughly a 2.2 times multiplier, and that's baked into the technique itself, not into Goku. It'll do the same thing every time he throws it out for the rest of the series, but even doubled, he's still short. 924 against Raditz's lazy 1200. Goku's single hardest shot doesn't even clear what the Saiyan tosses off without trying. Raditz swats the wave aside, drops Goku, and the message could not be louder. No single technique Goku throws out is gonna finish the job. But the stall did its job. Piccolo's charged, 2 fingers to the forehead, and out comes the special beam cannon, that spiraling drill that's basically his whole identity from here on. Scouter clocks it at 1330. Now this one's spicy, because off his 408 base, that beam is running better than the 3 times amp. 408 turning into 1330. So Piccolo's move is squeezing more than triple out of him where Goku's Kamehameha only managed double. And for the first time all fight, somebody on Earth's side is holding a number over Raditz. 1330 clears 1200. It would genuinely kill him, and he knows it. You can see him tense up the instant he realizes it. Trouble is, being strong enough and actually landing it are 2 different sports, and Raditz reads the drill coming and slips it by a whisker. Then Goku does the most Goku thing imaginable, grabs the tail. The untouchable alien folds into a puddle, begs that he's purified, and Goku believes his own brother and lets go. Gets his ribs caved in for the trouble. Classic. And that, Goku screaming under Raditz's boot, is what cracks the whole thing open. Because Gohan's been stuffed inside that pod the entire fight, and the scouter had already caught him at 710 when Raditz locked him in. 710. A crying 4-year-old, doing absolutely nothing, already reading higher than either grown fighter did with their weights off. The warning was right there and nobody could act on it. Then Goku screams, the pod detonates from the inside, and the scouter whips around to the kid. 1307. That's over Raditz. A hair above his 1200. From one person on the field who has never trained a single day in his life. Gohan blurs forward, getting even angrier, and I'm giving him another amp for this. Let's give this a quarter boost and say Gohan's new power level is 1634, meaning Gohan is now 36% stronger than Raditz. Gohan headbutts him hard enough to crack the armor and genuinely hurt him, and then, just like that, drops to 1. That spike was pure emotion poured straight out. No base, no multiplier, no way to call it up on command, which is exactly why it's gone the second the fear passes. Raditz backhands the limp kid away, but that hit leaves Raditz wrecked. Let's say his weakened state is about half as strong, dropped all the way down to 600. And this is the part where a numbers video has to admit the numbers aren't the whole story. Goku, busted up, is still at 416, drags himself up and locks a full Nelson on a 600 Raditz, the weaker man physically pinning the stronger one, which no power level explains. That's grip and guts and pure will, flat out. Then Piccolo fires again, and this time, the same 1330 beam that whiffed before lands clean, because the pin Raditz at 600 can't dodge, and 1330 against 600 is better than double. More than enough to punch straight through the Saiyan and the dad holding him. Same beam. The only thing that changed was the number underneath the target caving in. Raditz dies laughing about the two Saiyans already on their way, and Piccolo shuts him up for good. And that's the board, top to bottom. 322 setting Earth's ceiling, the weights coming off for 408 and 416. A flat 1200 nobody could dead. A 924 Kamehameha that dealt with Goku and still wasn't enough. A 1330 beam that could have won if it ever connected. And a 4-year-old rocketing 710, 1307, then up to 634, and then back to 1, on pure feeling. Before it caved in, 600 got held still long enough to eat the beam and dodge the first time. Even Vegeta rolls up later and scoffs that these guys got taken out by power levels barely over 1,000. He's not wrong, and that's the joke. This whole saga is the cleanest math this series will ever give us, right before it goes completely off the rails. 2 moves are locked in now. The Kamehameha doubling its user, the special beam cannon better than tripling, and those don't change no matter who throws them down the line, which is going to matter a lot in about a year, when the 2 Saiyans stronger than Raditz actually show up. If this got you looking at the scatter numbers a little differently, drop a like. Tell me what you want scaled next and stick around. It only gets crazier from here. But as always, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace!